3, 1, 2, 3. And hello fellows, Herogon here. Today is Thursday, October 12th of 2023. Right now things have been going pretty okay. And actually I have something exciting to reveal. I've now posted yet another new video for my YouTube channel of Herogon. This particular one is the Funlog files, which essentially which can be considered my first ever Funlog. I recorded the video way back in May 3rd of 2022 for my first Funlog, so yeah, definitely something here. And back in the old days, I definitely had a harder time with figuring out Instagram's own stuff. So yeah, and of course quality control 2 is also a little rough. Actually no, I'm sorry to have mistaken that. I put it at auto. It's pretty decent, I'd like to say, for my first time. But enough of the chit-chat there. Let's get into things. For this week's Sean the Bro tutorial that I did this week, I have done Online Session List Part 2. Which is part 193 of the How to Make Your Own Fighting Game series. In this episode for Sean, he goes over implementing navigation on the Session List menu, editing the Session List widget to support multiple online sessions. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. I'm sorry there. As I was saying, the episode also has editing the Session List widget to support multiple online sessions, and upgrading widget navigation with using PlayerControllers. So as you can see here, Sean can navigate around the sessions thing. And yeah, going into the code part, it was a bit of adjustments. Instead of using the pointer of the C++ pointer of this, we instead use current widget. And of course, we do the same for if getting class implements interface, Widget Navigation Interface being the static class. And the same goes for all other base player controller stuff for the menu. Up, down, confirm, and back. I currently don't have left and right put in right now, but that's probably something I should consider. So yeah. Now going into the blueprints part of things, there's a few things in Session List added. First up, the Session List element, which I should open up now to see what sorts of changes have happened since then. There's not much changes other than a color of red to hopefully help out, and that's all for Session List element. Now in Session List, I've added at least 3, 6, 9, 13. At least 13 Session List elements in the Sessions vertical box. Now going into the graph itself, there's a few things to add. After setting our Session List reference to itself, and the target being default game mode blueprint, I cast to base player controller, set current widget being the self, And the target is our base player controller. We get our player controller, cast it to base player controller, set current widget, then set the max selections, which is a new variable alongside current index for the session list variables. We set our max selections to get the children count of sessions vertical box. Then, of course, we use the Widget Navigation Interface functions of event back, move up, and move down, with event back going into here and removing the session list entirely for the moment. And then move up and move down deals with movement up or down, where if our current index plus 1 is less than the max selections, then we set our current index to the current index plus 1. And if we're moving up, we instead subtract from the current index and check if it's greater than or equal to 0. Then set is the same thing as that, but subtracting 1. Then we determine our selection. Now with determine selection, we of course go into a for each loop, getting all of our children as an array from sessions vertical box. And this covers how the button looks, whether or not we are on it, that typical stuff. If the array index does not equal the current index, if that's true, then we set our in-brush image to nothing, which means that we are not on this particular thing. We of course have our session background being the target from session list element, which is casted. Then of course in false, we set the in-brush image for that to P1 hover, and we scroll widget into view for our session list scroll box, with our widget to find being session list element. And that is pretty much all there is to this week. There's a whole lot of work to be done with the online play, let me tell you that. I'm pretty sure Sean the Bro will be working hard to make further improvements until we have ourselves a fully playable framework for hundreds of others to play around with. Going into here, we go into online. Whoops, almost made a mistake. Then we go into join, and as you can see here, my whole thing is right here. As we go down, the purple selection is here. And that is pretty much the basics of it. Then we can press back to, there's a few kinks here and there with regards to the buttons. At least with regards to the online button. As you can see, if I exit out, and whoops, almost there. There we of course go into the little fighting stuff, search, found 0 sessions after that. A little bit of kinks here and there for that. And that will be all for this week's fighting game Funlog. Actually, that is all there is for this week's Funlog files, which is the current name I've got right now for this series. Do note that I will do my best to provide my older back catalog stuff from Instagram onto YouTube, and soon enough, from the time I get caught up, I will have Instagram instead serve as a trailer part for a trailers area for the Funlog files rather than full-length videos. Credit again goes to Sean the Bro for all of his tutorials. They've been pretty amazing as usual. I look forward to each and every one of them. I know it's hyperbole or whatever you want to call it, but sometimes you gotta give plenty of credit here. And with all that being said, I've been Herogon, you've been you. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.